Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the More Than Skill podcast. My name is Kara. I'm your host. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Let's start again. Hello and welcome everybody back to the More Than Skill podcast. I am Kara and I am your host. Thanks so much for joining me today. I guess I just been working with kids for a really long time, ever since basically I was a kid, 14, 15, 16, 17, working at the local Parks and Rec. I love working with kids. I think they're smart and creative, and maybe a lot of times we don't give them as much credit as they deserve. So I made that into a career. I'm now the director of a local competitive cheer gym and have been for the past 10 years. And prior to that, just lots of coaching experience. And what I really like to do is help kids out with the mental side of things. I won't say it's easy to teach them physical, skills associated with their sport, but there's lots of resources out there for that. And there's not a lot of resources as far as developing them or helping them understand how they can leverage their mind to help them create success in their sport life and just in their normal life. So that's what I'm doing here. And I want to thank you for joining me. So today's episode is how we're going to help those athletes to celebrate success. Most of the time, we are actually pretty much all of the time during practices, we are dissecting their failures and how to correct those. There's not much of the time that we are celebrating their successes, as is in any sport. So today I just wanted to take a little bit of time and talk about how we as coaches can help ourselves to celebrate our accomplishments and successes, and also to help our athletes do that. Before we get into that, I do have a little mental strategy tidbit for you. And today it's actually not mental at all. It's physical. Today's mental strategy tidbit is to actually take action. So much about me and More Than Skill, and this podcast is all about refining those mental abilities, right? It's calling those things into your life. It's energy and vibrations and manifestations. A lot of it is a little bit woo-woo here, so to speak. But I always want to make sure that we're emphasizing that the mental side of it is not the only side of it. There has to be physical action that's taking place in order to bring about what we want into fruition. So mindset is important, but today we are taking action on your goals. If we think about things enough, they will come into fruition. As we know, your thoughts create your reality, but action is sort of like the fast lane. It's the fast track. And even intuitive action is even a little bit better. We can get into that some other time, but take action. Today, I want you to take even just 5 minutes. I want you to take 5 minutes, research something that you've been interested in. If you're wanting to achieve a goal that you've been thinking about for a while, how can you take 5 minutes and take an action step to move towards that? That is your little mental strategy tidbit for today. Much of it is mental, but some of it is physical, and you need to take action. Okay, so remember to do that. Now, to get into today's episode, as I said before, too often we are dissecting problems, and I do this every day. I walk every day. I go outside to the wonderful Cleveland Metro Parks. I walk around and I dissect my, maybe not problems, but just sort of, I think through things. That's what I do during my walk. If I have an issue, I think through it. I find a solution. I think about my goals and how I'm going to achieve them, but I'm really dissecting the more negative parts. I'm not going on walks and being like, hey, Kara, you're just so great. You did a great job at this. This is going really well. That's exactly how you wanted it. None of that is happening in my brain. I just kind of realized that today. And I don't think it's a bad thing. Like, I use my walks they definitely help me, but it's a normal human thing, and it is what I do. And I think that that's just human nature. Everybody does it. We do it. Our athletes are doing it. And as I said before, during our practices, it's failure after failure. That's how you get better. You learn from your mistakes and you get better and better. And we as coaches have to navigate those failures and use it as a teaching experience to help our athletes gain success in their sport. But today, because of this, I really wanted to spend a little bit of time on achievements and success. We don't do that, and we need to. So I have some journaling prompts that I want you to do and that I want you to convey to your athletes to sort of just help them understand, you know what, I am good at something, or I did do this. This is my goal, and I actually achieved it. Like, let's dissect that. Let's dissect the positive for a day. I think we can all do that. And another thing that I wanted to point out before I start with the journaling prompts is that here's the real reason I think it's super important to celebrate success. Here it is. It's because when we achieve a goal, we're usually at that point not satisfied with it. And I mean, you can use like famous people as an example. Like, how many times have you heard famous people like crying, like, woe is me, this is a hard life? And all us regular people are like, oh yeah, woe is me, you guys got it really tough, right? It's just kind of like you work and work and work for this goal or this achievement, and you get there and it's like you still want more. We're always wanting more. We never just get somewhere and say to ourselves, oh, I did it, I accomplished my goal, okay, I'm done. It's kind of like you just want more and more and more. So I want to be able to start celebrating, the small wins along the way, and learn how to have fun with it and learn to accept it. I don't want to achieve my goals and never even realize it and never be happy or proud of myself for doing that. Like right now, I have just a wonderful little family in a wonderful little home that I love. And thankfully, I have the mental wherewithal to wake up in the morning and come down into my living room that I love and just be like, gosh, I love it here. I love my house. I love what I've done here. I love my little family and the little moments that we have together. And I'm experiencing them in real time. And this is a goal that I had years and years and years ago. Obviously, was have a family, raise children, live in a beautiful home, have a family that loves me back. Those were all goals at some point in my life, but I have the wherewithal to be like, oh, I did it. And I'm happy and I'm celebrating it. Too often, we're just living in our dreams and not even thankful that we did it, not even celebrating that achievement or that goal. So I think if we can make it a habit, we'll be able to be grateful in the moment and not be looking back 50 years from now saying, I wish I would have been grateful back then. Look at how good I had it. You know what I'm saying? You catch my drift? Okay. Anyway, so let's get into these journaling prompts. I love a good journal prompt. I'm just, man, I hate to admit this about myself, but my journal is just full of the negative. It's the same thing like when I'm walking. I get out my journal to dissect things and work through problems and talk about my failures and how I can be better, and a lot of shadow work. None of my journal is like, oh, this is going so great. It's just so unfortunate. We've got to start. I love talking about this. We got to start being a little bit more positive and grateful for what we have. So here are some things you can write down. I already hinted at number 1, but this one is cool. I want you to write down 5 favorite things that you love about your home and why. What do you absolutely love about your home and you wouldn't change? You got to be able to find 5 things. If you can't, that's fine. Find 3. And important to note when you're doing these exercises, these are not meant for you to reflect on negative things or things that you want to make better about yourself. That's not what this is for. This is just simply plain black and white, write down 5 things or 3 things that you love about your house and why. I'll give you some of my own. One, I just said, I just love my living room. It faces the sun comes in. It's painted a beautiful color that we did ourselves. I love how it's decorated. I love how it's set up. It's beautiful. I love our neighborhood. We live in a dead end, like 3 cul-de-sac neighborhood. It's great for Lucci. It's great for taking walks. It's great for walking our dog. Love the location. What else do I love about my home? I love that Matt and I both have dedicated office space. Love it. Okay, there, I did it. Now you do it. And write down why. 2. Okay, second one. What is a really nice compliment that you got from somebody that really just resonated with you? When's the last time you got a compliment and you're like, wow, that just made me feel so good? Could be you're a good coach. Could be for your athletes, maybe it was a skill that they perform really well or their performance. Anything like that. What was a really nice compliment you got from someone and you remember it and it really resonated with you? Just let that just soak it up. Let it feel good for just a second. Okay. Number 3, who is your favorite person to confide in and why? Write it down. This one was hard for me. I don't confide in a lot of people, as you probably realize, because I just said I like to take walks and think about things and I like to journal. So I really confide in myself a lot. However, no one beats mom. Confide a lot of things in her. She usually has some great feedback because she's been alive a lot longer than me. Who is your person? Who can you confide in? Maybe spend some time just being a little bit grateful for that person. And then the last one I have is, who do you respect and why? Could be maybe a celebrity you look up to, could be someone in your family you look up to, a friend, a colleague, just someone that you have a lot of respect for. And why do you respect that person? And then I also want you to write down what attributes that you share with that person. How are you alike? And maybe what could you do to emulate their other qualities? So if you think about someone you really like, you really respect, maybe sometimes you catch yourself thinking, wow, I love that person. They're great. I wish I could be a little bit more like them. Well, why? What are the traits that you see in them that you want to emulate? What are the traits that you have that you already share with them? Maybe they're competitive. Maybe they're funny. Maybe they are wise, or they take things lightly, or they are really, you know what I admire about people? Just the follow through. Just really respect my front desk person at the gym. She just gets stuff done. Man, I want to be like her. So we'll use that as an example. I'm not like that. I have like a million different projects going on at one time. Whereas I like give her a task and it's done within 5 minutes. It's just so admirable. That's something I want to emulate. I'm going to start thinking about that every day. But the things that we have in common is like she loves being outside. You know, she's competitive, she's funny, she's really down to earth. Like those are the things I think we have in common. So write that down. Who do you respect? Why? What are your same attributes that you share? And how can you emulate their other qualities? Okay, so 4 journaling prompts, easy peasy. This was a quick episode, but what I want you to take away from it is, let's recognize the small things. Let's recognize our achievements and accomplishments. Even your athletes who you might be having this chat about or having this chat with at your next practice, you can tell them like, hey, you've made it through, 7 grades. Like, that's pretty cool. That's an accomplishment. Good job. You successfully completed the first 2 weeks of school. Look at you, dude. Like, you're killing it. You're still organized. You're here. You're on time for practice, whatever it is. Like, could be the smallest thing. Hey, you woke up and brushed your teeth without your mom having to tell you? Cool. Let's celebrate the win. And do that. Try to implement that into your practices. Celebrate those small things, the small wins. Gosh, my. And let them know it doesn't always have to be about correcting the things that we did wrong. It can be about recognizing the things that we do right. Okay, everybody got it? Okay, good. Let me know how it goes. Have fun celebrating your successes. And I will talk to you in a week.